Bienvenidos, Duras, ¿cómo están? Su podcast Play Sports Podcast. Y en esta ocasión tenemos la oportunidad de platicar con un gran personaje. Ella es KAYLA Thompson, nacida en 1998 en el estado de Nevada de Estados Unidos. Es decir, si no saben matemáticas, tiene 24 años. Y ella es la portera del Toluca Femenil. KAYLA, thank you for being here with us. I know it's very busy for you as a professional goalkeeper, so thank you.
No, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, KAYLA, the main idea of this podcast, or this episode, is to try to inspire little goalkeepers, older goalkeepers, coaches, and coaches goalkeepers from the perspective of your life. So please be comfortable enough to talk about yourself. The idea is to help us understand your career, your way from the beginning all the way to right now. Okay?
Awesome. Sounds great.
Perfect. So KAYLA, please let's start in the beginning. Who is KAYLA? Where you're from, your family, where you grew up, everything, the basics of KAYLA.
I was born in Las Vegas to my parents, mom and dad, Deborah and Rich. My dad was there in the military, and he retired when I was around 6. And at that point, I had a younger brother, 2 years old, named Blake. The 4 of us made our way to Austin, Texas, and that's where I pretty much spent most of my life growing up. So we moved there, joined a new school, played all the sports, played t-ball, basketball, soccer, everything growing up. Went to elementary, middle school, and like the public schools in the area, and then got recruited to play in a soccer academy in high school. Its name is St. Stephen's. That's the school. So went there. It was a great opportunity, both academically and athletically for me. Smaller school, so I was able to kind of have a more unique experience. And after that, I committed in my junior year, or just before my junior year, which is 11th grade. I committed to play at West Virginia. Went there for the 2017 and 2018 seasons. Wasn't getting the playing time that I was looking for. Kind of wanted that smaller school experience again that I had in high school. Different academic environment. So I transferred to Brown University. Played there for 2 years, 2.5, thanks to COVID. And then, so we won. We were super successful at West Virginia, super successful at Brown. So definitely had the luck, to have two great soccer environments, two very, successful soccer environments. And then after that,
sorry to interrupt you, but I want to focus in the beginning. I understand that the culture in the States is different. You practice a lot of sports when you're young.
Yep.
You practice, I don't know, lacrosse, volleyball, basketball, football if you're a guy, soccer if you have a lot of different sports. When do you fall in love with soccer? You tell me that you got drafted by the high school team to play soccer. That's before you were playing in an academy or something like that?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I just loved all sports. I love to compete. I love to play. I love to be outside. So through kind of the ages 10 to 14, my main two sports were soccer and basketball. So I was playing those two pretty much at the same level. And once I had that opportunity to go to the soccer academy, it was kind of a fork in the road. So it was kind of, you need to choose soccer, you need to choose basketball. And at that point, I was closer with my friends on the soccer team, was able to travel a little bit more with soccer. It was a tough decision, but I ended up going the soccer route. And from there, I ran track in high school. I kind of did a couple things there here and there, but from there, it was kind of right around the age of 14 to have that opportunity to play in the academy. I had to spend a lot more time playing soccer, and that's when I really started to fall in love with the sport, deeply understand the sport, all of that.
Always as a goalkeeper?
Yeah, when I was probably about 9 or 10, I was on one of the lower teams at the club, and we would just take turns going in goal. And there was a couple games where it was my turn, and I played really well. And the coaches had said, well, we need a goalkeeper on the top team, so if you want to stay in goal, you can play on the top team. I was like, of course I want to play on the top team. So then I was there, and from there I was spending, more time in goalkeeper training and was able to develop past my kind of raw athleticism from there.
So right now, we can tell that you have been goalkeeper for 10 years.
Yeah, closer to 15.
Closer? Yeah, because it was 10 years old. Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So, okay, now we step right now in high school. How was the process to get it scouted and you get a scholarship, right? To the first.
For high school or for university?
University,
For my age group, the rules were quite different than they are now. You could recruit kids when we were 13, 14, super young. So I had some girls on my team who had offers to go to colleges when we were 15, 14, which is so early. I mean, you think 8 years, that's another 4 years before you start. So much can happen in terms of development. You grow a lot, you become a super different player. So I first started kind of going on visits around that same age, 15. And it's just, imagine you go to a high level soccer environment as a 15-year-old, your eyes are like.
Yeah, like a professional team.
Right. There's amazing equipment, amazing facilities. You can't even kind of wrap your head around it because it's so different from kind of what you're used to. So thanks to kind of my parents and some people around me, they advised me to kind of see a lot of places and see that it's not just one school that has all these nice things. Like most schools have all these nice things. And how to look, for the things that are important to you, whether that's academics or how much playing time you might get, or if it's close to home or things like that. But we would have the way the recruiting process works is we would have college showcases. So we'd go play tournaments, maybe 2 or 3 games in a weekend. Or in a week, and you would send an email to all the schools that you're interested in saying, hi, this is who I am, this is where I play, please come watch me, and cross your fingers that they come to watch, and on that game that you perform well.
Nice. So, did you get a scholarship?
When I went to West Virginia, I was mostly on academic.
Okay. It's a
that
tuition
took
free?
care.
Tuition free.
West Virginia's Division One.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's
you transfer to Brown.
Brown.
Division One
Yeah.
also? And
Correct.
then you have like scholarship there? Or no?
The Ivy League schools, which is what Brown is in that conference, do not offer athletic scholarships to anyone.
Academic.
Yeah, so it's all based off of your family income. So if your family makes a lot of money, then you have to pay full tuition. If your family needs the money and can't afford tuition, then they provide for financial aid. But you could be Lionel Messi and you're not going to get any athletic scholarship because the schools don't do that.
Oh, perfect. So, in your experience, episode here in Monterrey, we represent an agency called Soldier Team USA, SR USA. So, a lot of here in Mexico and in our hometown in Monterrey, they are very interested in the college career and student athlete. One of our goals here in the academy is try to place some of our students in college in the United States for scholarships, right? So, in your experience, what will be the three basic, I don't know, consejos? Forget the name. Consejos, advice.
Concepts?
Three advices. The most important three advices that you can give to these kids that want to go to the States to be a student athlete.
Okay. My number one is don't forget about school. Most places that you go to are going to care about your grades. It's not just, oh, I'm great at soccer, great, I can play. Especially in women's soccer specifically, it's a bit different in men's soccer, but in women's soccer in college, the good soccer programs are also very good universities. So it's not just anyone can get in. So that would be my first advice. My second is make sure you're still having fun. I think it can be, people can get so, I want to go to this school, I need to perform good, I need to do all these things. And I know I had a lot of friends who ended up stopping soccer because they got burnt out. It was too much and they forgot why they play. So make sure you're not losing that. Whatever your reason why is for playing, make sure you keep that. And the third one is to be patient. Not, for me, I'm a short goalkeeper. I'm 167 centimeters. I'm not a big I mean, I have a big presence, but I'm not what everyone maybe thinks of when they think of goalkeepers. They think of, 180, 190 centimeters big. And so that made my process take a little bit longer. I had universities that said, we don't take anyone that's as short as you are. I don't care how good you are. We don't take any goalkeepers that are that short. And I just had to be patient to find someone who believed in me, someone who saw, what I had to offer and the type of goalkeeper that I was. And I know lots of people who didn't commit until, 7 months or 6 months before they went to college. So the process can be quick. You can fall in love with a place and everything works out. Or the process can be a year, 2 years, 3 years trying to get in the right place. So just be patient and things will work out.
Perfect, Kayla. Perfect. Thank you. Very good advice. And another advice that I will ask you is right now. So step in your mind in your college years. Give me another three advices because right now we have two classes right now living in the States, Mexican guys that there were our students, and they are
Uh-huh.
struggling with everything. They told us it's everything in the air. We have soccer, we have school, we have the social, we have the travel, we have it's everything. With your experience, give us three advices for the kids that are living in college here, like imagine.
Yeah. One, accept that you're not going to be excellent at everything. It's not possible. So, the three main things that people talk about for college athletes are the sport, the school, and the social life. Those are the triangle. And you're gonna move towards one point sometimes and towards the other point sometimes. You can't be at all 3 points at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so when an exam season comes along, my social life and sometimes soccer need to kind of step back a little bit. Normally, fortunately, like soccer, the season has ended by the time you're doing exams. So soccer's already taking up less time. I want to see my friends, but I also need to take care of my exams. In the spring, you tend to soccer shifts, so your soccer kind of goes down a little bit, and you can enjoy that social part a little bit more, still focus on academics. So it's just kind of know that something has to give. You can't do all three at 100, and know when to do those. The second piece, surround yourself with like-minded people. So
Okay.
if I'm really focused, social life is great when I can have it, but my 2 points that I really always focus on are soccer and school. I want to be around people that are the same, that think the same.
Mm.
If I have friends that are always saying, "Oh, there's a party tonight, let's go. It's a Tuesday night and I have a test tomorrow." Those are not the people that I need to spend my time with. And they may be cooler or more fun sometimes, but you have to be around the people that have the same goals as you do. If you aren't as invested in school and you want soccer and your social life to be your big things, have people around you that are focused on those things as well.
Nice.
And then the third piece, I think, is maybe don't be afraid to ask for help. There's, between your soccer staff, between academic advisors, between friends, a lot of times people can maybe do something that's small for them but would be huge for you. So at West Virginia, they would offer us meals. Sometimes for athletes, they would cook at the basketball stadium. And sometimes I had double session of soccer. I'm studying for a test, so I ask a friend to bring me a plate of food. So I'm not sacrificing my nutrition, but it's a small thing for them. They're already there, and they're going to come home anyways, so please just bring me a plate of food. Or for an academic advisor, going and saying, "Hey, look, I'm really struggling. This class are really tough. Maybe you need to get with a tutor. Maybe you need to learn how to kind of reschedule your time," but people can't help you if they don't know that you're struggling. So sometimes you just kind of have to be vulnerable and say, "Hey, could you lend me a hand? I'm struggling a little bit here."
Nice, Kayla. And coming from you, that you were a Division One athlete, and I understand that Division One is the most pressure that you can associate like a football professional player, right? It's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially depending on when you get to schools that are in the top 25 in D1, it is a job, basically. You are grinding.
Okay. So you were a Division One player. Since the beginning, you were hoping to have like a professional career in goalkeeper? Oh, no.
No, to be honest, um, I didn't know anyone who had gone pro when I was going through college. There was a couple of women who went after they had graduated before I got there, and then some were seniors when I was a freshman, and they'd go and play pro. But to me, they were at such a different level. They played on their youth national teams. They had started all 4 years in college, and those type of. I wasn't that player. I didn't start playing until I was a junior in high school, or junior in college. Sorry. So my first 2 years of college, I played a total of 90 minutes, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, I wasn't good enough. It wasn't kind of in my scope. When I transferred to Brown, the whole team had a phenomenal season. Particularly our defense kind of broke some records at the school. Our goals against average was like 0.7 per game or something. We did really, really well as a whole. And after that, my coach was like, "You need to go pro." I was like, "Me? No way, me." Because to me, I just thought the big league in the US, the NWSL, that's the only pro league. But then I started learning more. Oh, there's these teams in Europe. There's teams in Mexico. There's teams, kind of all over the place. It's not just this one league with 10 teams. Yeah. And so then once I had that kind of nudge from my coach, I had more conversations, did more research, and then once I set it as my goal, there was no way I wasn't going to achieve it.
When did you decide that was your goal? What age? When you broke all the records in Brown, after that you decide I'm going to pro?
Yeah. So when COVID hit, we were all at home. There was a day when they announced that they were going to cancel our fall season. So my senior year, we weren't going to play. And so I could either decide to continue and just finish up school and be done, or I could take a semester off so I could play another season. And for me, there was no way I could go pro on just one good season. So I was like, this decision is really, do I want to go pro or not? And so at that moment, I had those conversations, and I was like, okay, I want to go pro, so I need to take this semester off of school so that I can have one more season. And once I made that my mind up, then it was kind of, how am I going to get an agent? What things do I need to work on to set myself apart? I started making more soccer, whereas before it's kind of like, oh, I always want to play well, but okay, I need to improve my distribution. So that means twice a week I'm going to stay after and hit long balls with my goalkeeper coach, or whatever it is. These are the things that I need to get better at to really go pro.
Okay, perfect. So after that, did you decide to step up one semester, and then you come back this season? How did it went? It went good? Your team was good?
Yeah. It wasn't as good as for me individually, it wasn't as good as the previous season, but it was still very good. That first season was kind of a magic season where you get lucky. It's so many things get lucky. A ball hits the post and goes out versus hitting the post and going in. A ref doesn't call a PK. There's things that fell in our favor that are out of my control. And I was dealing with a little bit of an injury in my last year, but still had a very good season. We won our conference. We went to the tournament. And it was still a very good season.
Perfect. And I have another question. When you finished that season, how was your process to going pro? How was that you were already going pro? So you were playing pro. How was the process? What were the steps?
So particularly in women's soccer, it's super hard to go overseas without an agent or without some kind of connection. So sometimes maybe your coach knows another coach who coaches in Germany, and then you're able to go. They send your film. They're like, "Great, we love her. Bring her over. You have a team." But for most women, they get an agent, and so for the last month or so of my college season, I started having conversations with agents to figure out, who was going to be a good fit for me. And then once I picked my agent, it was kind of having conversations with him about, what level do I want to play at? Where do I want to play? What's important to me? It's similar to a college decision. Is it more important to me to be in this part of the world, or is it more important to me to just play the highest level of soccer wherever that is? Yeah, and I entered the draft for the NWSL. I didn't get drafted, but I got invited to a camp. And so I was training with them for preseason for a month. And then ended up getting cut, and then from there I went to Iceland. So that was kind of my first step into the pro world. Was the biggest thing is finding an agent and then being clear in what's important to you.
So you were in Iceland playing. What led you all the way to Mexico, to Toluca, playing here in Mexico? How was it? How did you get to Mexico?
So I finished my season at Iceland. We finished with promotion. It was a great season. I kind of had my agent looking for options, and things kept falling through. I went for a trial. A team loved me, but then they didn't have the money in Sweden. And so I came back to the U.S. I was coaching. I was working for a goalkeeper academy. I was coaching, and just training and just ready for whenever my next opportunity would come. And this is not how it happens for most people. I had the goalkeeper academy I was working for posted a video of me, and from that, a goalkeeper coach from Toluca followed me on Instagram. And I sent a message saying, "Hey, need a goalkeeper?" And from there, it turned into a trial. I came out in early December of 2022. Had kind of my week and a half trial. They ended up really liking me, even though I was fighting for air. The altitude here is so intense. No, but it ended up being good, and I signed right at the end of December. So that's how I ended up here, but that's the super non-traditional way of ending up here.
Yeah, it's different because social media help you.
Exactly.
Talking about
I mean, I know there's a lot of kids who have been building their presence on social media, and that can definitely help open opportunities.
It's some way, right?
Right.
A good way, or maybe in a bad way. Really?
Exactly.
So, I have to ask you, you were talking about goalkeeper academy. The person that set off to this podcast was the famous Big Joe Velasco. Big Joe Velasco is a very good friend of mine. I hate him and I love him at the same time. He's a big teddy bear that maybe sometimes can be crazy. So, Joe, tell me, you have to interview Sarah. His life is very interesting. And he told me he will be using the one glove for pink cancer. And I don't know, what do you think, but he's the first academy that I know in the world that all the earnings or the sales of one glove is going to the benefit of the plastic. He's not doing it once a year. He has been doing it 10 years, 12 years. I don't know. What do you think about that campaign? Yeah, Joe. So for the first question would be, when did you know Joe? The relation with Joe Velasco, when began? When did it begin?
Joe, because I'm signed with One Glove. They're my glove provider. And once I signed with them, Joe kind of was my connection for Latin America. Joe works for One Glove Latin America, and he was my connection for when they post pictures, there's updates about me, when I have stuff with the gloves. So that's kind of how the two of us first started talking, was through the gloves.
Oh, perfect. So, what do you think about this campaign? For me, I have known Joe about 6 years, I think, and every year he does something like this. What do you think about that campaign? And you're gonna be like spoiled here in Mexico. We're gonna sell it here in our store, but you're gonna be like the first image here in Mexico. What do you think about that campaign?
I mean, I love the gloves. I love the pink. I think that's kind of a statement color that, most of your gloves are black and white, red, blue. So having a bright pink for breast cancer, I think is, just a cool glove, period. And I'm a huge fan of using soccer for bigger causes. So I love that this is something that goalkeepers can rally around and use to support something that's bigger than soccer. For all of us, for players, your career ends at some point. Maybe you go into coaching, but your playing career ends at some point. And I think it's always great to contribute to bigger causes when you can. So the fact that I know from talking to him, this campaign's not easy. There's a lot of investment that goes into it, a lot of planning, a lot of effort. I think it's incredible that he's putting that in, and really hoping that we're able to sell all the pairs and make an impact.
Nice. For me, it's amazing. For me, here in Play Sports Academy, we have been in that campaign with Joe about 4 years now. We believe that doing something through soccer for a better cause, a bigger cause, is better for all, for everybody, right? So
yeah, agree.
Kayla, going back to your right now in Toluca. What do you think about Mexican female league? It's very new. I think it's going to be 6 or 7 years right now. The league is good.
I think 6. Yep.
I'm not bad. I have talked with Celia Solis. I have talked to Alex Godinez. I have talked to Steffi
Paredes?
Yeah, Steffi, and Claudia Lozoya. All that goalkeepers right now, they are very high ranked in the goalkeepers in Mexico. When I interviewed them in the first time, it was like 1 year, 2 years, the league of, and right now I can see it. It's a way too different. Right now you have sponsors. Right now you have stadiums very full. You have television. You have live events. It's different. What do you think from your experience, Island, and every place that you have played? How do you see the Mexican league?
I think it's incredible. The support here is the biggest crowds I've played in front of have been here in Mexico. And I think generally Mexicans are just massive soccer fans. So it makes perfect sense that the women's league, being as young as it is already having this much support. I think it's incredibly exciting to watch America and Tigres compete with the top teams in Spain and compete with teams in the US. I think it shows that this is a competitive league. I know lots of players that want to come here and play. It's great. I mean, it's such an incredible opportunity. We're playing in historic stadiums. We're playing in the Azteca. We're playing in, these incredible stadiums representing, clubs that are over 100 years old. I think it's just really exciting for the women's game. It's going like this every year. It's increasing. It's super exciting.
So many people hear us in this podcast in the States. And I have a lot of friends in the States. I have traveled to certificate myself. Thank God I have a lot of friends over there. And they always ask me the culture, the difference from the culture, and maybe some people in the States may be having problems living in Mexico. For example, I was for you because Toluca is in the middle of Mexico, not in the north, nor in Monterrey near the state. You're in the middle. Nothing closest to the state. How was cultural different or difficult for you? The cultural thing, the food, the tasty, the language, everything. How was for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I came, I was working off of 3 years of Spanish in high school. So that has been probably the biggest challenge. When you're in bigger cities like Monterrey and Mexico City, there's more English speakers. Over here in Metepec, we've got less English speakers, so it forced me to improve my Spanish quite quickly. So that's a huge barrier. And also being a goalkeeper, I've got to organize, I got to talk, I got to be present. So that was a big piece as well. Is when you're in the game and you're
different world.
That was tough, right?
You're thinking away, and here is different. Keeper, potato.
Yeah.
What's the most different? What's the world most different to change it in the game for you? Now, way or kids or.
No, I think those are pretty. What I struggle with in the U.S. when maybe I haven't learned the right words here in Spanish, but in English, when there's someone tight to you, you say man on. When there's someone coming, you say, I don't know, coming on your right, or like time for one touch. Here, I feel like whether someone's this close, like 1 step away or 10 steps away, it's they va. Just they're coming. To me, it's harder for me to communicate how close, how much pressure there is. You should know that there is pressure, but it's hard for me to communicate how much pressure, which is just as important as telling that there is pressure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's different. It's way too different because I can see in my certification stage away, throw, step back, to the right, to the left. They are the same, but played in different ways. So, perfect.
Right.
Please continue the language, the communication, the games. What was the other trouble?
I think in general, well, I'm a early riser, early eater, early sleeper. And I think just in general, like dinner time here is like 8 p.m. I'm like almost in bed at 8 p.m. So anytime I go out to eat with friends, I mean, when I'm cooking at home, it doesn't matter. But anytime I go out to eat with friends, that was a huge thing for me. It's like, oh, what time should we go eat? Oh, 7:30. I'm like, what? So I think adjusting to those later times, I'm telling you, I'm in bed at 9, asleep by 9:30. And that's listening as well. If my window's open, that's not how the people on the street, that's not how my neighbors are.
No. So, and the food.
I mean, I think Mexican food is some of the best in the world. It's so delicious, but it's not always healthy.
Yes.
So it's hard when you first get here. If you do like the little taco trucks, or you want enchiladas, you want chilaquiles, can't have that every day as an athlete. So I think it's while I'm here, I want to enjoy the Mexican food, but I also need to know, okay, I play tomorrow, so today's not a good day to have tacos. Maybe today I need to have just chicken and rice and veg. But I cook a lot, so it's not a huge adjustment for food. But yeah, you definitely have to be careful. Sometimes Mexican food can be quite greasy, so just being aware of what you're putting in your body.
What is the best thing that you like from Mexico?
Chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles?
Yeah, I could eat chilaquiles probably every day. It's so good.
with everything, with eggs, chicken, and cilantro.
Eggs, chicken, milanesa, doesn't matter. I love chilaquiles.
Nice, perfect. So, Kayla, I'm gonna start the last part of the podcast. It's gonna be like more sentimental part. Okay, so get ready.
Yes.
The first part. Do you remember the movie Back to the Future?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Imagine that you are getting in the DeLorean with McFly, and you're going back all the way when Kayla was 10 years old. And in that scene, but when you talk to yourself, you're gonna believe yourself more. Any advice that you give yourself, you will take it because it's yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
What advice did you give Kayla at 10 years old?
I would tell 10-year-old me to not worry about what other people are doing or trying to be like other people, and just embrace the ways that I'm different. I think there were times growing up where I was more competitive than the people around me, or maybe my friends were going out to party and I didn't really want to, but I did because that's what my friends were doing. And I never had fun. It was, trying to be somebody that I wasn't. So I think if I could tell myself, just be who you are and don't worry about what other people think or what other people are doing, I would attract more, like I said, more like-minded people, and hopefully still end up where I am today, but just have a smoother journey on the way there rather than the bumpiness I had.
Okay, that was 10 years old Kayla. So let's step forward. And I think from the talk that we have been doing, that the most difficult time that you had was changing from house, going to job. In that time, stuck in that time, what do you tell yourself? What advice did you tell yourself?
Trust your instincts. I think when I was transferring schools, I had a couple very good options, and I was really close to choosing a different school because the money was better, but I wouldn't have had such a great experience that I did at the school I did choose. And so I had some sleepless nights over it, and I think I would have just been able to relax and trust my instincts if I knew that that's what I should do.
What do you tell your parents at that time?
One more time, it cut out.
What will you tell at your parents at that time? What do you tell your parents what time if you're coming back from the future?
Yeah, what did my parents tell me at that time?
No, what do you're telling your advice to yourself, now tell advice to the parents at that time.
At that time, don't give me your opinion. I think encourage it, let me make the decision. I think parents, for sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, get very involved in their kids', soccer lives, in their lives in general, but in their soccer lives. And sometimes you kind of, once a kid is old enough, you kind of got to let them make their own decisions.
Perfect. So that was the first part of the three parts we end this podcast. The second part, you have to answer the first word or sentence or song that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
It's gonna be 13 questions. Okay?
Okay.
The first one. The past of KAYLA.
The past?
Yes.
Curvy. Lots of changes, lots of movement.
The present KAYLA. Right now.
Adaptable. Things come my way and I work my way around them.
The future KAYLA.
Bigger and better.
Your mentor.
My mentor. Ryan Thompson. He's a goalkeeper coach, and kind of taught me the positivity of that a goalkeeper can bring to a team, to a training environment.
Nice. Your inspiration.
Right now, the Spanish women that are fighting the federation, fighting for what they deserve.
Oh, nice. The best coach that you have ever had.
Ryan Thompson, my mentor.
You have to complete this sentence. I want to be.
Authentic.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Perfect. Your first soccer game.
My first soccer game. Lots of goals. I was probably about tiny, really tiny, but I was running laps around everyone.
Perfect. For you, the best goalkeeper of all time.
Oof. Hope Solo.
Pelé o Maradona.
Pele.
Messi o Cristiano.
Messi, 100%.
Nike o Adidas.
Oof. Nike in sport, Adidas in lifestyle.
Good answer. If you would play, if you can play with anything team of any time in the world, which team will be?
Hmm. The U.S. women's national team when they won back-to-back World Cups, 15 and 19, I think.
Hope Solo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the 90s, the MLS, when you tie a game in the full 90 minutes, you go all the way to shootout. Do you remember?
Yep.
Okay, you have to decide. PKs or shootout?
Ooh. I like shootout. I mean, I've never played a shootout, but I think it's something more exciting and more dynamic. PKs are boring.
Yes, of course. So, two more. First one. You are in the women's world final World Cup. Okay, you're playing. You can win or leaving your goal zero or winning in PK. You have to choose one.
Winning in PKs. There's nothing like winning in PKs.
Yeah, of course, of course. So the last question. Okay, this question is like for a Mexican culture or Latin American culture. Which career, if you're living here in Mexico, you have here in Mexico, you have two careers. Okay, at age of 15, you go and try to be a professional soccer player. In the States, though, you go to the absolute student way and then go professional. Here you have to go all the way professional, leaving school apart. Basic in this situation in Latin America, which one do you will choose? A professional player or student athlete?
Um, I'm someone who loves both worlds. Even now I'm doing stuff outside of soccer. So I would go the student athlete round because I like my hands and I like my hands a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I would go the student athlete round so I could still, enjoy school, and then make it to professional after.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So the last part of the podcast, this is the part that I ask all people that came us and give us your experience. So to give us an phrase or a song or something that you want your family, your friends, your teammates, or yourself to be immortalized here digital way. So, which will be your phrase or your song or your something that you want people to think about Kayla?
That's a tough one. Um, Probably always bring your best self, I think.
Always what? It's like
Bring your best self. I think there's a lot of times as people, as players, we can get wrapped up in all of the things outside of our control. It's raining. We lost the game because it's raining. I had a bad day at practice because I was put with a bad team or whatever. Where if you just bring your best self and focus on what you can control, your days are better.
perfect, Kayla. Kayla, on behalf of Play Sports Academy and this podcast, I have to thank you for your time. It was amazing hearing your story. It was amazing hearing your advices. We wish you the best of the best. When you come here to play Tigres or Rayadas, please give us a call. Come motivate our goalkeepers here in the academy. They will love seeing you and hearing from you and hearing some advice from you. So thank you about for your time, sorry, and thank you for everything.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invite. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure getting to talk to you, and hopefully get to meet some of the little ones you get to work with.
Yeah, it will be amazing. So don't go away. I have to end in Spanish, the traditional way, but give me a minute. Figuras, otra vez, muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros. Recuerden, todos los comentarios lo pueden hacer en redes sociales, Play Sports Podcast. Y sigan a Kayla, tuve unos materiales muy buenos, vienen unos guantes que voy a usar que están sensacionales. Los van a ver en redes sociales y no va a dirigir Kayla, están brutales. Les mando un fuerte abrazo y nos vemos el siguiente episodio y a darle. Kayla, thank you. This part is going to be off the record, so thank you everything for everything. It was amazing. You have a good story to tell, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten to see much of Monterrey, so if I can make my way out there and come work with you guys, it would be a pleasure.
Please see all the crazy things that we do in social media. You will like it. And if you came here to Monterrey and they give you you can stay with my family 1 day, 2 days. You can stay with my family. You are welcome. That's the way we roll. So I have to tell you, thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. Sorry for my Spanglish. My Spanglish is, wow, Big Joe makes
Your
fun
English
of me.
is great.
No, Big Joe makes fun of me. And I get bullied. I get bullied in social media because I do podcast in English. So sorry. I hope so that you understand me and hope to see you soon.
No, I appreciate you doing it in English. Made me feel like I could express myself a little bit more. So thank you so much. Your English, don't let anyone make fun of you. Your English is great.
Yeah, we are Mexican, so we make fun of people. That's the way we roll.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Have a great week. Good luck in your next game. We will follow
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.